Oh, I do believe we are live. I need to think of a cringe intro for myself. So, like last time when I just shouted at you people. So, hello everyone. How goes it? Hello, Moldy Apple, who's got a bit of a split personality. Vaughan, Mikel. It's not Michelle, is it? You're not French, are you? Hello, Dr. Crispy Rothschild and Slow Boy Whiteboard. This is. I'm thinking of taking like an hour-long stream for Sundays. It's Baron Strawberry. Whoops, like a bunch of messages showed up. Posher-looking chipper. Thank you. Very nice word, chipper. So everyone is gathering around. As I said, I'm thinking of having like an hour-long Sunday spot just to recap things, sing a bit, play a bit. It's not going to be too much playing because my guitar skills are rather limited. So until I've got a piano, we won't be having too much music, but enough to have a bit of fun. Hello, Jacob and Redfish. Right, I want to say something in a northern accent, like, "Hey up, lads! Fancy a bit of music this Sunday?" And that's about as barbarous as I'm willing to go. Hello, Jason Scholl. Let the people trickle in a bit more. Oh, goodness. So, how was your week? Mine was rather, I almost said hectic, but it was positively hectic. The fixing of the camera issue has been very encouraging, because now I feel like I can stream properly. Even though I could have, I see how I can imagine. We've had a bit of snow ourselves, although this winter has been rather warm. This is the first proper snow we've had, and it's basically already gone. Ahoy, Mr. Posho. So good, so blessed, cannot complain. Excellent, thank God for that. Big Atlantic storm brewing here. Yes, I've heard a lot. I've also seen what Father Deacon Ananias has been posting. So yeah, the northeast is experiencing quite a bit of snow, as is more of Central Europe. But yep, just got out of liturgy. Let's go. Well, that's fortuitous timing then. You guys have like a set time for liturgy, like all the denominations? Because since I remember, it was always 8 a.m. for us. And then people say like 9:30, and I'm like, what? It's most of the time it's over by 9:30. Maybe it's the fact that you folks are not as devoted, we are so awesome and cool. The southern tip of Africa is cooking, was 35 C yesterday. Woo. 35 C is like my upper limit, upper threshold before I start disintegrating on the inside. What is FDA? Stood for Father Deacon Ananias. Oh, that's hilarious. Wind and rain. I actually like windy time. Weather. I like rain also. I find it soothing. I also find snow aesthetically pleasing, but not too fond of constant need to clean up. And since here it can very quickly melt, there's nothing uglier than half melted snow that gets dirty, and not too fond of that. Matins 8:30, liturgy 10:30. Okay. That's quite a bit later than us. Nick Clinton says 8 and 10. Baron Strawberry is shocked that there are temperatures over 20 as an Irishman. I found it so funny that Buzz commented last time that Baron and I are competing who can stream least. But now with the camera issue fixed, I have no excuses not to. So on Tuesday, I'll do more of a general stream about linguistics. On Thursday, we're doing the Book of Romans. That's a serious one. The one on Tuesday won't be as serious. It will be more general information, more joking about, and practical application of things. And hopefully I'll open up memberships on Tuesday. I'm not sure. I need to think of icons. I've thought of the names for tiers, which I will not spoil for now. My headphones look more professional. I just hate this microphone. It's just a nub, and I'm not too fond of it. But hey, they were a gift, and don't look a gift set of headphones in the nub, as the ancients used to say. If Posh streams more, then I'm going to stream more. It's a direct, correlation, cause and effect. All right, maybe I should bring the microphone a bit closer. Sound coming through nicely. Excellent. Blessed Sunday. I'm just leaving liturgy now. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, I should give an additional hour, since a lot of you are just finishing liturgy. So yes, we wouldn't want to go from liturgy to banter immediately. There should be a cool down period. Right, so we had fun on Friday with Jim Bob. A great stream, lots of fun. I'm not sure when I'm appearing on mixed bags, because it's very easy to book me for that, but so he has to juggle more for the other people present there. What is the Orthodox position of supernatural creatures, etc.? I mean, in terms of mythology. A lot of mythological creatures in and of themselves weren't particularly physical. We tend to literalize it a bit. Things like a yeti, were more spiritual beings. They would have an appearance. I'm not saying they don't, which is how people recognize them as a sort of a continuum in different cultures. A lot of the times it's just how they're depicted, right? They are symbolically depicted, but like the wise man of the wood is not necessarily a 8 foot tall hairy humanoid. So a lot of them were spiritual in nature. But as far as I understand, that is something we are very comfortable with. We don't have the idea that, people make nonsense about that. What's it called? Like biblically accurate angels. Almost always angels appear as human beings. And then people say, you represent them like this, but actually they're just a bunch of, circles with eyes on them. No, like, sure, in Ezekiel, and they're forming a throne, right, which is a mobile throne. So that is a symbol of the fact that God isn't tied to a place, which gods were. They're tied to a certain city, to certain temples, etc. So you can expand it a bit, but that's basically how it works. So a lot of these woodland spirits that people might associate with Bigfoot-like creatures, like the Krampus creatures in more of the German, Dutch understanding. There are woodland spirits. They're not necessarily big hairy monsters. Oh, Death Culture sends in $5. Thank you very much, and says, I hope you and Miles Poland from the Godcast collaborate someday. I'm not sure who that is, but sure. I'm happy to look into his work and maybe collaborate. I'll have to write it down. So I've got two of these bloody things. I always grab the one that doesn't work anymore. Miles Poland. Okay. There we are. So I'll look into him. And basically, as I was saying, Marie Leah, or Leia, oftentimes it's a spiritual being. If that's what you mean. If you mean more like cryptids, a lot of them are either made up or something, but there is opening for it from different angles. It's just that there is no official Orthodox position on it. We Orthodox tend to approach things very apophatically, which means we try to cut off that which we can claim isn't the case. Rather negative approach to theology. So you're not going to find too much about whether there's a certain type of cryptid. That's separate from church dogma. Yes, thank you so much for the response. I am noticing a huge increase in the proliferation of werewolf mythology online. I really appreciate that. Lycanthropy, again, is not really so much about turning into a type of creature as much as it is gaining a certain type of supernatural strength. The Lycenian Games in Greece, which are sort of a cousin to Olympian Games, the Olympic Games, whatever, people would invoke this type of, with human sacrifice and certain practices I'd rather not describe, would try to gain supernatural strength. That lycanthropy, lycanthropy is Greek for wolf man, and it's Lycenian Games. that all plays into that, but then people take it a bit too far and just turn it into a type of, like the video game Age of Mythology. You just recruit these giant creatures and stuff. We over-literalize ancient ways of thinking. Wondering how much is deception given what we know about shenanigans and intelligence, etc. Yes, that's also a massive thing. So I approach these things with curiosity, but with a lot of skepticism as well, because I would love for something like that to be the case. It would be fun in a certain sense, which is why I like exploring conspiracy theories. But a lot of them, I'm perfectly aware, are either made up by lunatics or by intelligence agencies. we have more people trickling in. Let the chickens out this morning with a couple inches of snow. Let's say I got a whole bunch of side-eye. Nice. I was going to say stupid jokes, but then I remembered Posh does read chat out loud. Well, I say a lot of stupid jokes, but if you think they won't work with a British accent, I can understand that. Yes, Marie, we will do that. Smash that like anthropy. There you go. Well, Emmanuel, Vampire Frog, got you beat on that. Like anthropy. Anthropomorphize that like. Right. Haven't got a beer today. I've got a bit of spritzer. When we in Serbia say spritzer, it's white wine with carbonated water. So something you can drink for a long time without worrying about getting drunk. Also, I'm not a wine man, so I wouldn't just drink wine. Bosch loves like Mudley from Wacky Races. Let me try. I do very quickly. I laugh like a retard. So if you've heard me like really laugh out loud, which doesn't happen too often if I'm sober, but people get shocked. I remember back in college, we were sitting around. It was like the first week or so, sitting outside, waiting to copy. I can't remember what exactly. So there were quite a few of us there. And and someone said something, and people were so accustomed to me speaking in my voice. So when I started laughing in a very high-pitched voice, people were very much confused because the disparity of it. Not as good as Romanian wine. Well, I'm not the one to judge. I can't. You can't be a proper judge of something if you don't like it. So, it's a response to, is Serbian wine good? We used to be a very wine-heavy nation, but in the 1920s there was some type of pestilence that wiped out a lot of vineyards. So wine really fell out of like common usage. Which is unfortunate. So that's when we switched more to spirits, right? Beer was always there, so that's no problem. But here in my locality, we make rather good wine. At least I'm told. I have no idea again. And because you need a certain type of geography to make good vineyards, you can't have flatlands. Doesn't work as well. But I'm told it's very good. So yeah, ask a person who doesn't like something to appraise it. I imagine Posh laughing like Fraser Crane and mutters things like, yes, oh yes, very droll. I do like the word droll. I got used to it from French, actually. Drôle, and then I heard, as everything, everyone likes to poo on the French, but then anytime anyone wants to sound fancy, they emulate French, which is hilarious to me. Just got here. Is Russian difficult to learn? I already speak French and English. Yes, actually, I'm going to be honest with you. It's worth the effort. Russian is an incredibly poetic language, as opposed to Serbian. Poetic due to its phonetics, actually, and certain morphological, traits. It's just gorgeous to listen to prose or poetry in Russian. Also, if you don't speak fancy Russian, it's like with English in England. The fancy version is gorgeous. The non-fancy version is atrocious. So, but if your experience is in English and French, you're going to have a very uphill battle, learning about grammatical cases and stuff. But I definitely advise, investing time in it. Serbian, as compared to Russian, is very, I don't want to say formal, but not as melodic, not as poetic. It's very straight to the fact, great for holding speeches. But the softness of the Russian phonetics just lets things flow, and we are more staccato than that. Where I'm from, we make good beer, lots of variety. Now you're speaking my language, and we're talking about beer. And I just like regular beer. I don't understand why everyone's like, beer with dragon fruit flavor. Sod off. And go extinguish yourself. Don't like wine and dogs, likes wind and rain. Okay. Except the dogs part, I do sound like an Englishman. Likes wind and rain, doesn't like wine. On what occasion do you break out the Slivovitz? Any? It's not about occasion, it's about making an excuse. So it's just how valid is the excuse. I do feel there needs to be more pipe smoking rather than cigarettes. Yeah, but pipe smoking requires a certain type of tobacco, which is, at least where I am, rather expensive, and I'm not willing to invest. It's just pointless, and it would be for jokes only. So not going to happen, I'm afraid. Merci pour cette réponse claire. Je vais continuer à étudier le russe. Québec. I'm not going to read it in Québécois French, français québécois. I'm not too fond of it, I'm sorry. Louis. Now we know you're not Louis, you're Louis. What do you think of the theory that they've added 1,000 years to our calendar and we are actually in the little season of Revelation? The 1,000 years that is used, not just in Revelations, 1,000 years is used as a symbolic number to express a long time, right? The book of Revelations, as I said, I'm not sure whether it was on Jim Bob's stream or mine. It's not just end time books. Yes, there are very much end time, inklings, but it's a thing that is also currently happening. Apocalyptic means like general, like total overview of everything that's going on. So you shouldn't look at it as we entered this or that phase. That's very difficult to ascertain, and for good reason. God is letting us have our time to repent, so you're not going to have a cheat code for it. And people who have said, we've had people on here who say, "Oh, do you know this is the first time the Jews are back in Jerusalem, etc." Okay, who knows whether they'll be kicked out again, right? We don't know. We don't know if there's a massive war. We don't know what's going to be left and how long that population is going to stay. We don't know. It's easy to think, oh, we're in the last age. Everyone thinks that, and in a certain sense, we should, because that is how you are reminded that you need to get close to God, and other things are much less relevant than that. So I don't see the point of it, because it's Redfish. It sort of relies on the idea that there is a specific timeline you can calculate, so they're trying to trick us into whatever type of behavior. But no, 1,000 years is not 1,000 calendar years. It's an expression, and I said that it's like we say bajillion nowadays. But and like also in Revelations you have like the children at like the 144,000. That's not an enumeration. It's 1,000-fold, saying that there are many children who are in the presence of God. I can't remember the exact symbolism of it's like 12 times 12, and stuff like that. So don't try to go into gematria. It's a rope you can only hang yourself on. Louis, oh, thank you, Slowboy Whiteboard. So she posted the PayPal. I can't stop saying PayPal. The PayPal, donations for now. Which, if you're able and willing to donate, your French is excellent. I'm impressed. Quebecers speak an older form of French. It sounds more rough indeed. Yes, I remember when we were starting out French back in primary school. We got, one of those like booklets which sort of have like charts and declinations and conjugations and certain verb forms and, like a very, very summarized form of a grammar book. And it had this semi-ironic, it might not have been ironic, I always took it as at least irony, if not sarcasm, that on the first page it says "Ce qui n'est pas clair n'est pas français." That which is not clear is not French. I'm like, is this some type of self-awareness joke? Because it was a lot to take in, all the different subjunctif, which doesn't exist in either Serbian or English, which were the only languages I was learning at the time. So it took a while to understand. Then you get to like conjunctives in German, and far more importantly and more difficultly in Latin. Plum brandy, yes, that's basically what Slivovica is. Humility, I suppose. Well, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I can always approve of humility. Right, so we're going to do a bit of singing and stuff. For some reason, my guitar gave up on me. The E string, but the lower E string gave up on me, which I've never experienced. So I couldn't tune my regular one, so I had to get my brother's guitar, and I'm not as accustomed to it as I'm to my own, because he uses like the nylon strings. I use like regular metal ones, so they don't resist as much, which makes it very easy to bend them if you're not very proficient in guitar, and I am not. Somebody asked me last night, after I'd had about 8 whiskeys, why, given it's quite likely we live after the 1,000-year reign of Christ, I bother with differences between denominations at all. Well, as we talked about, like the 1,000 years isn't an exact number. It's representing a very long time. And I don't understand. Like, people talk about denominations as if it's not important. Denominations are important. Otherwise, why kick out anyone? Why kick out the Arians, the Nestorians, the Macedonians, the Marcionites, the whatever Sabellians, and if you're just going to, it's this exact enculturation. We're enculturated to say certain things. Okay, we can disagree. It's not unimportant that we disagree, but it shouldn't stop like unity and stuff. But we can't do that. things start to unravel very quickly if you are just going to be lax with your doctrine and your dogma. And again, that's no excuse to be cruel to people. We shouldn't. We should bring them into the fold, or attempt to contribute to it. Okay. DC Woodworking sends in $3. Thank you very much, and says you should get a mountain dulcimer. I'm not sure what a dulcimer is. It's something that softens something up. Oh, okay. Looks interesting. Is this like a proto-steel guitar? So I do like getting all types of, interesting instruments. It's very fun to explore them, including most recently the mandolin. Oh, first person Q already owns one. So I'm assuming because you added the qualifier mountain dulcimer, there are different types, which again I'm going to have to look into. I always like looking at like the different type of like proto pianos, not just like a harpsichord, but things like an otarino and things like that. They produce such interesting sounds. It's not just a higher pitch. There's a different quality to it, which can be very enjoyable. Did you post videos of you playing music? I'd like to listen. Chairfolders United here has posted a couple of edits of me, but I haven't really recorded anything seriously. It's mostly just for memes and stuff. A lot of it stemming from the fact that I still don't have a piano, and that's my primary instrument. So the guitar is here more to have fun with. But I will consider recording something more for the fun of it. And sure half so. Good afternoon, Michelle. So yes. I've picked out like a couple of songs that came to mind that aren't too difficult, and we'll definitely have to end on Auld Lang Syne. It's a great song to close on, and I don't plan on going too far into it. It'll be like about an hour stream. Just let me check something. Okay. So maybe we can have like things like have people ask for a song, but I'm not confident. Free in those, because again my guitar skills are limited, and I'd hate to have someone super chat a request and me not being able to do it. With the piano, that would change. And I also don't know too many like very popular songs. I'm very much a musical snob, so I apologize for that. All right. But I also apologize, there will be no Freebird, no Wonderwall. None of the things that make people hate acoustic guitar players. Right, so the one that came to mind today, excuse me, no, that's good enough. TV Dinners by ZZ Top. I think I only know one song by ZZ Top, probably because of the beer difference. I think I only know Sharp Dressed Man. I may know another one, but I can't remember the name of it. and it might not even be by ZZ Top. So that's about everything, all you're going to get in those terms. As I said, I'm rather snobbish with my music. You know. Actually, how well can you hear the strumming? It's not. I want to know if it's mashing up, which would really ruin the whole thing. Okay. Thank you very much, Louis. If you think it's time to, for now, rock, and for now, roll out of control. Oh, it's a Tenacious D. I got it. They said I love Baroque music. It's my favorite one to period of music for learning it. Sorry. It's a bit difficult, as I said. It's a different guitar. See, I don't know why I showed it to you like you would know my other guitar. Unless you saw it over a year ago with the Banter song. Yeah, Badman Rising. See, I don't know what that is. A lot of songs I know, I just don't know the name of them, and if you play them, I'm like, oh, that's the one. Right. Take nylon strings for classical. Yeah, definitely. But my brother is like, his primary instrument is the guitar, so he takes the good guitar and he plays it a lot more than I do. Jim Bob and Posh getting the band back together. We definitely need to make something, like some type of collab. Since my voice dropped when I was like 14 or something, I'm very used to singing like backing vocals, but like the basso. And basso isn't, unless we're talking about like Russian ecclesiastical music, the basso doesn't have a lot to do. And as you will see when I start singing later, you will see that it doesn't pierce as well. You know, there are simply certain songs which should only be sung by either women or men with very high voices. Because if it doesn't have that piercing quality to it, it just sounds like something is missing. It's like playing boogie woogie on the piano without any percussions. It just lacks it. You can't make up for it with a very strong, very good bass in the left hand. It lacks the percussion. Likewise, if you have a deep voice, it very much ruins your ability to produce a certain effect. Anything by the Teskey brothers or perhaps Mr. Blobby. Now I feel like you're trolling me. Mr. Blobby. I was surprised to find that playing a guitar with nylon strings is an order of magnitude easier. Well, yes. Also, this is an acoustic guitar. It's not a classical guitar. You can see it's not very broad. The fretboard isn't very broad. There's not a lot of space between the strings. So when I played a classical guitar, I found it even more easy. But yes, nylon strings and like a classical guitar are just built for classical music, but then they lack in strumming. So yeah. Also, sorry, as I said, I'm not taking requests because I'm not very good at it. And I don't know a lot of songs. I actually prepared them. Johnny Cash, I could prepare something by Johnny Cash. Love is a fiery thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Irish folk songs, oh yeah, with Mountain Dulcimer. Well, I don't know, I have to listen to it. Gotta serve somebody. Beady, that's a good one. I have to learn Jim Bob's song, the Lie to Me. I haven't given it time. Okay, but without further ado, and as I say that, Mud appears and says, "Hey everyone, Posh, why are you not playing a banjo like your Kentucky ancestors?" Banjos are actually rather expensive, the proper ones, because they're very heavy, a lot of metal in there. Do you think that Russia would be a good country to move to for a Canadian? Is job and access to property easy for foreigners there? I wouldn't know, actually. I know that you're not Russian, but I assume that you know more. There are people who move there, but if you move to Siberia, they'll actually give you stuff, but then you have to live in Siberia. So there are parts of Russia that they're trying to develop, so I know that they actually give people money and land to move there. I think America did something similar with Alaska. I live in Kentucky. We make banjos from dry gourds around here. That sounds anarcho-primitivistic. Just make one out of hubcap and some tin cans. Thank you for all the engineering DIY tips for making a banjo. Okay, I'm going to have to move this because I need to hear myself sing, and my voice isn't in the best shape. It's not bloody cats, is it? Damned creatures. Okay, no, it's not. Nick Clinton, I'm not sure, but you may not be acquainted with the fact that there's a conspiracy theory that I'm from Kentucky. Okay. 400 to 700 USD for a gourd banjo. God. I'm going to be like in Monty Python when they're arguing over a gourd, like the bartering. Me with a sick mother. Okay, so the first song came to me today. It's a rather older, so not old, but older, German song called Der Junge mit der Mundharmonika, the young man with the mouth organ, right? What do you call it? You call it a harmonica, actually, yeah. But in German, you are they call it a Mundharmonika, so it's a mouth harmonica. I want to get a strum stick dulcimer. Now you're just making them up like the Pokemon. You didn't miss much, Randy West. I haven't even started singing and stuff. I'm introducing this first song. Arschharmonika. I'm going to let you decipher what Arsch is in German. We are a very polite channel here. He missed 40 minutes. Right. So now if I can only remember. I think that's the proper rhythm. So without further ado, number 2.
Da war ein Traum, der so alt ist wie die Welt. Und wer ihn träumt, hört ihm zu, wenn er erzählt. Der Junge mit der Mundharmonika singt von dem, was einst geschah. In silbernen Träumen von der Barke mit der gläsernen Fracht, die in sternenklare Nacht deine Einsamkeit entführt. Du hörst ein Lied und ein Engel steht im Raum. Dann weißt du nicht, ist es Wahrheit oder Traum? Der Junge mit der Mundharmonika singt von dem, was einst geschah. In silbernen Träumen von der Barke mit der gläsernen Fracht, die sternenklare Nacht deine Einsamkeit entführt.
Mixed it up a bit because I had to transpose it to a G from a C, and I messed up for a moment. Okay. There were so many types there. Totally Pokemon stuff. Bosch needs to busk on the street corner with this Sound of Silence riff. Simon and Garfunkel do rely a lot on like a German Schlager. Lawrence, 87, sends in 5 pounds. Thank you very much, Lawrence, and says, thanks for the entertainment. You're very much welcome. Is this Disturbed Sounds of Silence? I don't know if this song actually predates Sounds of Silence. I haven't even thought of it. Like, it does sound like it quite a bit. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. No. Again, Disturbed Sounds of Silence. Not enough of ooh, ah, ah, ah. I can't do the ooh, ah, ah, ah. Too animalistic for me. Slowboy Whiteboard sends $5 and says, a nickel for your tin cup. Thank you very much. Tin cups, which are made of aluminium, by the way. That's also a linguistic trait, you know. A lot of things we call by what they used to be like, or the materials they used to be made of, like tin foil. Like tin foil isn't made of tin, neither are tin cups. But yes, sounds better not in English, whatever it is. Yes, we'll see. The next song that I'm preparing mentally for, I've only started practicing today, and it doesn't use too many common chords, so I hope I can make it work. And I'm also pretty sure you know it, right? Sounds better not in English. Simon and Garfunkel and the Third Reich. Oh, poor Germans. Can't make anything without referring to the Third Reich. Oh. Again, I don't want to belabor things too much. I'm one of those people who makes things a lot more difficult than they are by overthinking it. So yeah, and I don't think that's a surprise to anyone who has heard me talk for more than an hour. because in that hour I probably said something that could have been said in 10 minutes, but all right. Georges, I don't know who that is. I even started by pronouncing it in French, Georges, because it looks like Brasson. I don't know who either Georges Brasson or George Brassens is. So I apologize for that. As I said, this is why I'm taking, I'm willing to take tips. I can't take requests. When I was a kid, I thought Simon and Garfunkel were their first names, and I was like, what kind of first name is Garfunkel? A German one. Anyone who's willing to name their child Ulrich or whatever is, Advocate with Jay Dyer for Alex Jones. Get in contact with Branimir Nestorovic. Branimir Nestorovic is like the doctor I mentioned on last stream. I'm really good at singing as long as there's nobody listening. When I became a reader, I remember it was a shock to me. I used to sing in choirs, but first of all, you're a man, so you're basically guaranteed to be in the back. And secondly, you're a basso, so you're definitely going to be in the back doubly so. Okay, so he is Brasson. Was a French composer. La Mauvaise Réputation is a great melody. I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard of him. I've heard a lot of like French schlagers and stuff, but I'm not too fond of them. I'm going to sing, what's her name? Edith Piaf. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Such a wonderful influence on people, that woman. But yeah, as I said, then I became a reader, and I had to, not only did I have to sing, if you put me in front of an audience, it would have been easier than like in the middle of the church, in like the Stacarion and stuff, because I felt like I was going to pass out. Like, oh no, I don't want to mess up the liturgy. But you get used to it. Right. So the next song is at least performed by, what's his name? I have to check it. Frank Sinatra, yeah. I don't know how I forgot his name. So this is the difficult part, because I'm not too... this type of music is not as stable as I like my music, which is classical music, especially Baroque. Everything has to be very mathematically organized, which appeals to my autism. Is this the posh variety show? Sort of. I help out as a lay reader, and I butcher everything when it comes to the canon for All Saints of Russia. Oh, goodness. I know your pain, my friend. I know it all too well. Although the singing helps, and my priest said, I remember, said, you're like our trumpets of Jericho, which is one of the nicest compliments I got about my voice. Oof. Damn it. See, you're making me cry. The dangers of smoking. Okay, let's not postpone it any further. Let me just find my... Okay, Okay, let's give it a try. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, babe, I forgot the melody. Baby, kiss me, Miss Tom. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Damn it, I messed it up a bit, but fair enough. All right, I've got another one. The tuba of Jericho. It's the saxophone of Jericho. Right, so I'm working on it. I've no experience in performing sober with a guitar in front of people. Austin Datilla Melody, Crispy is a resident YouTube mod. He deserves it. Yes, Crispy is always there. The omnipresence of the Rothschild. So he's great at posting links, and we very much appreciate him. And you, Slow Boy Whiteboard. Athanasius is slacking completely. And I think Lil O'Main actually said she was not interested in more modding, so, if I remember things correctly. Hello, Pravoslavicon, which is still one of the great usernames where on this part of YouTube. It's exhausting. Yes, so I remember it correctly. You're not a natural mod, like Dr. Crispy and Slow Boy Whiteboard. Right. Speaking of right, Slow Boy Whiteboard is saying hello to Pravoslavicon and just says Pravo, which is an interesting word, you see. Now you know it's going to be 10 minutes talking about a word. But pravo in Serbian means forward. In Russian, it means right, like on the right-hand side. But then in Serbian, pravo would still mean correct. So like in English, you say right ball, both for right hand, right-hand side. But when you are saying something is correct, you also say something is right or someone is right. So you see the sort of strange ways that words can change up a bit. So in Serbian, again, you retain that meaning of correct, but now it means like forward, whereas in Russian it had the original thing. Whereas as a ubiquitous mod, it's nice to be in the streams I'm not modding. I can just listen without distractions. I imagine so. I wouldn't grant myself any mod powers because, and if you've ever heard me talk about people and things I'm not too fond of, you will know why. I wouldn't abuse my power. I would just believe that that is the proper way of handling things. Oh, I've seen Lil O'Main mod several streams simultaneously. Can't blame her for not wanting more. Yes. I was in no way offended by the refusal of modship. I understand it. Oh, Lil O'Main, what's starting soon? because I've got one more song, which is the farewell song, and would very much like to send people to, if there's something coming up. And I didn't see anything except that the Crucible is streaming in, 6 hours. Have you visited America before? No. I still hold to my theory that traveling was invented by women to torture men. And I've not gone further from Serbia than Greece. 5 minutes. I'm modding Lloyd de Jong. Oh, I'm not familiar with the person, so okay. I've been listening to Father Stephen DeYoung streams on Epistle of Romans for the past few weeks. The epistle has been very misunderstood by prots from what I have learned. Exactly, and I will be leaning quite a bit into his work, but of course others as well, because for them the Romans is the linchpin of their claims, and then they sort of interpret everything else in the light of the, more like in the darkness of their interpretation of Romans, which is why I assume you even requested a stream on it. But yes, sorry, but predeterminism as conceived of by Calvinism is simply unbiblical, and you will know that it falls apart for them. They really like the idea of being the elect. They are not too fond of the idea of God being the origin of sin. All right, and then they say, well, God didn't force you to sin. Well, there is no me to resist, so you can't really force it. It's like saying, well, I pulled the trigger on the gun. I didn't force the bullet, and aimed it at you, but I didn't force the bullet to penetrate, your viscera. What hasn't been misunderstood by prots. If I was to refocus, like what has been misunderstood by prots, to what hasn't been, I would have one stream, and that would be it. I could close up the channel. Yes, the Jacob and Esau section is misunderstood to point out one part. Yes, Jacob and Esau are actually, that's referring to basically the Israelites and the, oh goodness, what do you call them in English? Not the Amalekites, goodness. My brain, Edom. The Edomites, yes. Right, so the Edomites who have actually not only not helped Israelites, because Edom used to worship Yahweh, the Mennonite, not, oh goodness, I shouldn't be speaking about theology with this many errors in what are in Latin called lapsus linguae. So yeah, right, it's talking back to Malachi. It's not talking about the persons of Jacob and Esau, because they reconcile. If you read through Genesis, which I suppose that if you're going to read through the Bible, there must be a point you've read through Genesis, and then if you have, that becomes rather difficult to ignore. I see some of you always with that moderator tag and wonder if you accidentally do it all day long. They just drift. South African? Who's South African? He's Anglican but does deep dives on everything. So the Lloyd fellow. Okay, he's not the Lloyd I'm thinking of. Oh no, he's not. That guy's named Lloyd. Oh goodness me. Now living in Warsaw, Poland. Oh yeah, okay. Right. I understand. DC woodworking, it's very, very difficult to be worse than Reddit mods. You just don't need to commit crimes, and there you go, you're better already. For those of you who have noticed, by the way, I sang Fly Me to the Moon with an American accent, which is much easier than singing with a British accent. Because and you will notice a lot of native Brits actually sing with an American accent, or more American, because the vowels are much more stable. You know, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. You know, and then you fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. It really tends to cause a bit of confusion. But our farewell song is definitely going to be sung with a British accent. Not a whole lot of it. And by the way, an obvious reason why you would is that when you make a song with a certain accent in mind, you're going to adapt to it. Which is why you can't really translate a lot of songs. Translating poetry, in fact, if you've ever done it, is one of the worst things in the world, because you will either butcher your own language or the original poem. And I remember, I think it was like the last year of primary school, we had The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volumes of forgotten lore. Right, when we had it in Serbian, and up to that point, I'd never heard of Edgar Allan Poe. But then I discovered the poem in English, and realized that in its translation, it really sucks. And I can't blame the translator, because I had to translate things, and it really ruins everything. In fact, my brother and I have a whole line of jokes we make by translating things into Serbian from English, like especially idiomatic or meme phrases, which sound ridiculous, but that makes it meta. All Serbian anime girl senses fluctuation in force when he's singing Serbian anime girl. I should prepare like the butterfly from, do you say Digimon or Digimon? I'm going to go with Digimon. I've long waited to ask this difficult question. Is there a problem in the Serbian church, as in Russia, with agents of influence, in particular the KGB? If there is, how serious is it? I can assume there are some people who are compromised by the whole thing, but no, not really. The church doesn't meddle much into politics, as it shouldn't. It voices concerns over social matters. But yes, there are people who have been compromised. In fact, two of our late bishops, one being a metropolitan, Amphilochia and Athanasia, were known for speaking Koine Greek over the phone, because they were expecting to be tapped back in communist days. How cold is Serbia now? A couple of degrees over zero. Is Digimon as in digital monsters? Yes, but a lot of times when people make a portmanteau, they switch up pronunciation even. I will not even go into the GIF or GIF pronunciation. Okay, bye-bye Lilo Main. Back to her modding duties. The Asians, they just love to oversee things. Yes, Georgi Dimitrievich says BIA. Yeah, that's our intelligence security agency. I'm ashamed to know that. No, why? It's a kid's show. I remember watching it. Like the OG animes that you would watch as a kid are like Digimon, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Dragon Ball. Right. I'm not racist. I am prejudiced. There is a difference. Oh, look who's here. Based Albanian, formerly known as Resident Sleeper. And I only know the first letter of his name because that's... and basically I guessed it. I actually didn't guess it. I basically said that... I basically said that I won't take anything from people in whose language XH is a letter, and he said it's the first letter of his name. That's how much I know. So George says something in Serbian. Ima uticaj bio u crkvi kad sam počeo studije, jedan episkop mi je rekao da on zna da ima ubačenih iz službe na studijama, ali će da prođe normalno, predaje normalno. Okay, so he says that a bishop told him that there are those who have been introduced into the universities. Yep, unfortunately, no one is safe from intelligence agencies. It's literally their job to muck about and ruin good things. Right. So, as we're closing up, okay, you're just trolling, those aren't real words, and that's definitely not a real language. You wish, my friend, you wish. You don't even have your own language, you speak English. So why don't you speak American then, mud? Yeah. So as I said, the last song we'll be hearing today, do Serbians and Albanians hate Romanians? No, they should. I speak God's language, Albanian, yes, and God used the Austrians to create a writing system for you. I'm a dirty German thief, so I took the English language. Can you teach us some Serbian slang? I'm not sure about slang. I'm not too fond of slang, but I am from southern Serbia, which means I can teach you something that probably even Georgia here wouldn't be able to understand. What about Bulgarians? Everyone hates Bulgarians. There's nothing to like. Oh, actually, they do have pretty good music. There is a, if you've ever played The Witcher 3, there's a Bulgarian wedding song that's for some reason played when you fight humans, right? Not when you fight monsters, but humans. Oi, Lazare, Lazare, I don't know the rest of the song. That's all I remember. What? You should use Cyrillic to be more mysterious. Still don't know why you folks use two alphabets. Well, traditionally we use Cyrillic, but then when Yugoslavia was formed, first as the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenians, later on as Yugoslavia, you know, you had to incorporate like the ones who use the Latin script as well. So I was taught Cyrillic first in school. Technically, I was literate before I went to school. My grandfather taught me to read and stuff, but you learn Cyrillic first, and then you also learn Latin, and you can use them basically interchangeably because it's been adapted. You're a poor panel when he is. We need to organize one. By Posh and Chat, my cats need to be fed, I assume. I'm looking for homes for 3 kittens. I'll send you one, Posh. Yeah, that's a smart thing. Although, if some of those, fake animal cops don't show up at your house, don't be surprised what happened. They had a brutal Olympic program, like the Spartans. Who? The Bulgarians? Goodness. Makes sense. I forget Yugoslavia was a thing. I wish I could forget that Yugoslavia was a thing, but I lack that luxury. When you're going to learn Gaelic, Posh, it was the language spoken before the flood. I do know a song in Scottish Gaelic. I've forgotten it now. I will have to relearn it for the next hangout, and I have more than 3 songs prepared. But this, making sure I do it this weekly is going to do a lot to motivate me to practice guitar and stuff, because I've gotten a bit rusty and I wasn't very good to begin with. So yeah. Sending food to the serf. I wouldn't even eat a cat. Got to go. Nice singing, and thank you for your thoughts on crypto creatures. You're very much welcome, Marie. Ferrets or cats? Meat market. Recently learned the difference between relative and parallel modes. Helped a lot with applying theory to my noodling. Noodling? What's noodling? Okay, it always lasts longer than I hope, but not than I hope, but than I plan. So the last song we'll be hearing today is Auld Lang Syne, because, for those of you who don't know, it means like the good old times, which, if you don't know, doesn't make a lot of sense, the song I mean. I thought noodling was when you grab catfish under the water. I would not know. Noodling is like messing around on an instrument. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Quispy is ascendant of Hyperborea. Neil lowly people. Okay. So Auld Lang Syne, as I said, is a song I can sing in a British accent, which helps out a lot. And I'll sing, I don't know, like 3 parts of it. I think that should suffice. Let me just place this thing as it should. Okay. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne? For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. And surely you'll buy your pint cup, and surely I'll buy mine, and we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. We too have run about the slopes and picked the daisies fine, but we've wandered many a weary foot since Auld Lang Syne. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup, oh kindness yet for old lang syne. Right. The singer of Digimon song Butterfly is dead. Really? Whoops. Let's not break the guitar, shall we? Yeah, so my voice hasn't been in the best of shapes. Drinking cold carbonated water doesn't help at all. Right. Had to stay away almost all night for work, talking about things no one cares. Ever happened that you feel kind of sick only to realize many minutes later you had to go to the bathroom? I'm so sleepy. Sounds like a creepypasta with a manual. I'm going to be going to the Russian church when I head to seminary. I will be an Albanian plant in Russia, but on a serious note, pray for my speedy marriage and entering seminary. Well, God willing, based Albanian, all will go well, both with seminary. I did not know that you were intending to go that far. I knew you were going to a type of education on the theological front. So that's wonderful to hear. And God bless you and your endeavors, both in marriage and with entering seminary and everything that comes with that. So, you know, praise be to God for all things. And I'm actually very delighted to hear it, all joking aside. Bravo. Thank you, Slowboy Whiteboard. I wonder why. And a cigarette emoji. Actually, cigarettes aren't that destructive, but the cold carbonated water really doesn't help a lot. But yeah, congratulations to Albania, based on this is Alhamdulillah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he died in 2021. Well, you know, God rest his soul, and may he mention him in his kingdom. Don't know anything about him, but you know, that's no excuse not to pray for mercy. And yeah, so it was a bit of fun, and also to check whether the camera thing wasn't just a fluke back on Thursday. So our things are going well on the video side. I'm learning Russian to be better in line with my girlfriend and her family, as well as the church I am entering. Yes, excellent, excellent. As well you should. I should also add some Russian songs to the list. Shares the stream is smooth. Excellent, thank you, DC Woodworking. Oh, like Russian Cossack songs are some of the best things in the world. Когда мы были на войне, когда мы были на войне. I'll come on and play Russian accordion. Oh yes, we will have to set that up. I'm not sure if we could record it, obviously, but I'm not sure if we could live. We could sync up, because there's going to be some delay, and it doesn't take a lot of delay to ruin a song when performing live. Accordion and Jew half collab. Wonderful. So yeah, I've got an accordion, but if I play it, it's going to destroy everyone's eardrums and potentially the microphone as well. I won't be. I'll be ending the stream now, based Albanian, but I will be going live again on Tuesday. On Thursday, it's going to be a serious one, so not on Thursday. Or then ideally next Sunday, when I do this type of thing again, I want to make it like a relaxed thing and sing a bit and talk a bit of banter, because I get into debates on Twitter like an arse, and it's a good point to summarize what I was arguing about, because I'm not going to buy the premium Twitter, and then my character number is very limited, and due to that, I don't get to say everything I want to say. That's rather ruinous. It makes me want to then talk for an hour on the subject. And I thought, well, why not use that and make something useful of it for the people, and add a stream that is more fun. But that's about it. Just make fun of their spelling mistakes. I make sure they're American, and then I, correct, like ton, you spell it Tonne. Like, I don't know who taught you to spell ton, Ton. So, the struggle of the Twitter peasants. Yeah, it's dreary. Lots of people who farm for views. There's a guy who's called the Hellenist, who just is like the most cringe person imaginable. We want to bring back, glory to Olympus and stuff. And if the replies to him are to be trusted, he's a Colombian Jew. So yeah, that's fun, isn't it? Okay. Sol Brown, like Sol Invictus. When we worship the sun on Sunday, thanks Emperor Constantine. Have you seen Redeemed Zuma speaking? Oh, I couldn't miss it. But that's sort of what I expect of him. I don't think he's malicious, but he is a spurg. So yeah, I've replied to him a couple of times, but I don't think it's much worth it. He isn't very engaged. Zoomer is collapsing. He doesn't make good points. Spurging again on what? Well, on a lot of things. Recently, he started banning people who converted to Orthodoxy from his Discord server, and then had reinstated and apologized, and stuff like that. So that's maybe that's not what Based Albanian was talking about, but definitely something that was interesting to see. And there's that. Did you see the account 5 Solas? I think it's called. Just another youngling that thinks they have all the answers already. Yeah. That is an appealing thing about Protestantism. It makes things very simple, even though they're oversimplified to the point of being incorrect. But you don't have to learn big words, even though a lot of Protestantism does use big words. It's just that's for the R.C. Sproul's and MacArthur's and stuff. It's not for your average Protestant who just goes, "Are you saved? Are you saved? Are you saved? How do you know you're saved? Do you have any security in your salvation? Are you going to get pegged by a half-goat red man with a pitchfork?" Spiraling out of his bow tie. Oof. Bow ties used to be so cool. Libertarians ruined them with making them colorful. It's supposed to be a bow tie. It's supposed to be a gentlemanly thing. It should be black. And then, let's wear an orange one. Kind of want to join his server to thank him for his streams with Dyer and Erhan leading me to Orthodoxy. Well, I didn't know. Oh, do you mean to troll him or was that something that really helped you? My babushka is the greatest theologian, she prays. Yes. In Orthodoxy, when we say theologian, we don't mean academic theologian. We mean someone who is deeply spiritual. And, there are, I think, 3 saints who hold theologian in their name. But based babushka, definitely. Okay, so I'm going to be heading out, folks. Thank you for being here for this test run of this endeavor of having. I may have to come up with a different name than Bitto Banter in music. I'll think of something more catchy. This is just a what do you call it when it's temporary? I can't remember. There's a phrase for it, but it's temporary. Saint Simon the New Theologian is one. Yes, and he's, I think, in the 7th century. So that's new in Orthodoxy. Simon or Simeon, depending on how people render it. Before you go, okay. I'm willing to wait. Start something, hard topics, harder liquor. Spoken like a true seminarian. Yeah. It's a difficult life for a priest to refuse drinks every time he visits a house, and he has like 10 houses to visit. Theophany is especially dangerous for the house blessings and stuff. Yeah. I will bear that in mind, based Albanian. But since this is like the 4th time I've said time to end this, this is really the time to end it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chats and stuff, for the mods who are working hard or hardly working. Damn it. Oh, yeah. Posh wrapping ups are a little faster than a Dragon Ball arc. That's so true. We call that a Southern goodbye. Okay, thank you for the info. I didn't hear that. Are the Irish known for going away too quickly or too slowly? Not sure. SciGuy33 sends in $2. Thank you very much, and says, how much for you to make ASMR videos, Angelic Voice? Well, first of all, thank you very much. Secondly, I find ASMR to be horrifying. I do plan on starting a separate channel for just reading things, to help people, through books of the saints and things like that, which might help people who are traveling to learn. And it's not copyrighted. And I won't be monetizing that one because, would feel horrible. Okay. ASMR of Smokey. Okay. That's it. Thank you for being here again. And I'll see you again on Tuesday, then on Thursday. Not sure about Mixed Bag. Maybe that won't be next week. Maybe it will be the one after. So thank you all so much. God bless you all and see you soon.